That's that real music, man. Come back home, motherfucker, see how real it is, man. You say like, damn, man, like, you know, cause the world's so big. You feel me?
As of recording this video, I just spent the last 24 hours watching Frieren.
Whoa! That's interesting, but I sure don't care.
Yes, I watched the whole 28 episode anime in one day. We really aren't the same. And you wanna know why I did this? Because that right there, that's some good fucking food.
Finally, some good fucking food.
I don't care what anyone says. I watched this show at the exact perfect time in my life. It's kind of spooky. It kind of felt like divine intervention, like it was meant to be. If I started this show with everyone else back in September, yeah, sure, I probably would have liked it. But I am positive I wouldn't have enjoyed Frieren as much as I do now. And hear me out on this. Really, truly listen to me. I would not have loved Frieren as much as I do now if I didn't fall in love with Final Fantasy VII this same month. Final Fantasy VII is my new addiction right now.
This right here is my favorite thing ever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
Growing up only playing terrible ass anime games, 2K and Fortnite, I would have never guessed that I could get jiggy with a JRPG of all things. A role-playing game? Nah, no way, couldn't be me, no. And now I'm participating in Tifa versus Aerith arguments. What has happened to me?
It's a love triangle where Aerith or Aerith, depending on what version of the game you have, sometimes mistranslated. Like, she's like the really kind girl who has her superpower is like to like heal everyone and like make the world a better place.
Poor women, we have to heal everyone.
And then Tifa's like this like sexy little thing who's like a thief and stuff. She wears a short skirt and you're like, I can't decide.
I used to be a respectable nerd. I used to have hoes.
He's lying! He's lying! He's lying!
The point is, my recent love for Final Fantasy has heightened my love for all things magic, mercs, and mages. Aerith is my favorite character to use in Final Fantasy VII. I know, surprising. I always like having a mage in my party, so finding another fantasy show that's not isekai trash, starring a mage who I don't have to convince people that they're actually a good character. If you're like me, who isn't really the biggest fan of fantasy shows inside the anime medium, you kind of just like tolerate their existence. I heard season 3 of Shield Hero dropped and I was like,
damn, that's crazy.
But that is not the case with Frieren. Frieren will make you realize it wasn't you. You're not the crazy one here. As much as they want to tell you, you are the crazy one for disliking most fantasy anime shows, the more anime you consume, the more you realize, no, I'm not the crazy one. I like fantasy stories. I just fucking hate these guys. Frieren is basically a fantasy story where every trope that you see in the genre is played completely straight. We've gotten so used to the subversion of these classic tropes that seeing them played straight feels like a fucking subversion. For example, Stark is a lovable dumbass warrior, but he's not a pervert or a weirdo. He doesn't have any weird quirk to him. He's legit just a normal guy with real human problems. Finally, finally, this is the shit I'm talking about.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
We need more normal dudes in fantasy anime for once. Not vending machines, not slime people. Yeah, I'm big hating today. Who's gonna stop me? Also, I don't know who this cult is that keeps getting the hot and popping new anime all the way to the top of the best anime of all time list on Mao. Bro, chill. Let the show end first. Let them cook. Give them a little bit more time before we do all this. I'm such a hater when it comes to most fantasy shows in the Japanese animation format, and not to push out my own pretentious propaganda. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't want to be mean. I want to like stuff. But I promise you, I just feel like most of these offers just be doing anything. It bugs me. Butarba, the story of a man who turned into a pig? Nigga, what? Regardless of the actual quality of the show itself, how do you expect people to gravitate to this? How can I get jiggy with this?
This is whack. I can't get jiggy with this shit.
Who are letting these people cook? Who is doing this? Is this a money laundering scheme? I swear to God, the isekai subgenre has gone actually bonkers. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Someone needs to stop them. Please. But you know what? They aren't even gonna get me off my groove today. Not today. This video isn't about them.
Get the fuck out of here.
This video is about Frieren. Because Frieren is literally a gem of its genre. The fantasy show I really always wanted, that stayed true to the title. This is a fantasy through and through, to every meaning of the damn word. Now yeah, I could rattle the fuck off about how good the show looks, blah blah blah, the animation is so good.
We know! Move on!
But like I always ask about popular mainstream animated shows, besides just talking about how good the show looks, what is the real appeal? Why do we give a fuck? Why do we love this? And for me, it's kind of just like real simple. I kind of just like the dialogue.
I'm not sure what you did in there, but I can tell that you worked your very hardest, Sign. Thanks for the help. Good job.
You know, Frieren, you're the only one who still praises me like I'm a kid.
That's because you are a kid.
There's something about it that feels so smooth, so human, and it hit me. Frieren's dialogue is boring as fuck. Frieren's dialogue is literally how I talk to people most times on a daily basis. You know, except I don't get to get animated by Yutaka Nakamura. The way characters talk most times feel like a loved one talking to you. It feels like a sunny day, chilling with your girl on a picnic. No high-pitched character voices, no super unnecessary nudity, just adults in the fucking room throughout this whole production, and you feel it. Please, sir, please keep doing this and never stop. Me calling the dialogue boring is really a compliment to how human the author and studio team made these characters feel. This 1,000-year-old elf girl feels like a whole lot of people that I know. Oh yeah, and before you ask in the comments, I know you're gonna do it. I did watch both the Japanese and English for this video, and I truly don't care what people say. They are both great. I don't know how many times I gotta say this shit. Stop being weebs for a second, guys.
Listen, man, just watch it in Japanese. It's way better.
And realize that the English dubs for anime now can be good. It's 2024. I love Frieren's dub actress, Mallory Roduk.
Owie wowie, baby wants mommy.
She's doing such a good job in the role. It's the little stuff that she does that makes me go, yeah, she kinda killing that.
Now this hoard of treasure is mine!
We can't take it all with us.
I like the monotone she brings to the performance and the dialect. It's different than what I would expect when you're not hearing the show in your main language, but it somehow kind of fits.
But isn't that a common mistake made by apprentice mages?
I have never been very good about it.
If you were aware of this, why didn't you bother mentioning it?
It's mortifying, to say the least.
It fits how I feel about the character of Frieren compared to Atsumi's version, the Japanese voice actress. Don't get me wrong though, the dub doesn't completely fit. I still think you should watch this show in the original language, but shitting on the actress portraying the voice is not the wave, dog.
That dub is actual garbage, not gonna lie. Only the English voice actress for Ada Wong can compare how shit this delivery is.
You've done a shitty job. You're trying too hard to sound bored.
Are you a smoker?
Y'all are dead ass embarrassing. I legit feel disgusted being in this community sometimes. Like, having people like this around, still doing this dub versus sub argument in 2024, it will never be that serious, dog. Get the fuck over it. Also, why she talking like this?
You were exceptional. That was quite the show. Well done.
Mallory. Calm down. You know what Dr. Umar would say.
It only takes a little bit of white brainwash to activate the cool chip.
The reason I advocate so much for giving English dubs a fair shot now is simply because my family and friends are really into anime. Some of them even watch my videos, and most of them aren't nerd ass Twitter warriors hiding behind anime girl PFPs. They just want to enjoy a show and story casually. They don't want to multitask without having to read subtitles. Skill issue, I know, but it really just made me curious. Is watching English dub as taboo as it was when I was pirating Naruto episodes when I was 10 years old? And I'm sorry to say, nah, there's some good dubs out there in the streets now. You just gotta care enough to find them, to look for them. But y'all don't care, right? Y'all really not hearing me for real. Sir yaps a lot. Yeah, okay, bro. We can still be friends though. It's not even that deep. But anyway, enough yapping. What is Frieren actually about? Frieren is about the aftermath of the first adventure quest of an 1,000-year-old elf girl coming home after her party defeats the Demon King, and basically how, because she's practically immortal, she disregards spending more time with the people who love her most in her life. I like how she just fucks off for 50 years simply because she can.
Beautiful.
The view from inside the city isn't very good.
I'm trying to have a moment here. Don't spoil the mood.
Next time, then. I know a good place. I'll take us there when the opportunity arises in 50 years.
Nigga, we about to die soon. Like, you can show a little fucking empathy.
In this world, there are a lot of your typical fantasy races, which is like dwarves, elves, that live for a really, really long time. Long enough to witness JFK shooting, and then stay around long enough to see the present day bullcrap we're going through right now, and have it feel like a 3-month wait gap. Because the first episode, you basically start, and it's like, oh shit, did I missed the show already? Wait, hold up, did I skip ahead? They already killed the Demon King? Went to Shell City, got the crown, saved the town, and Mr. Krabs? It gives off big Anakin and Obi-Wan vibes in that one Star Wars movie where they're just yapping about old adventures they had.
I haven't felt you this tense since we fell into that nest of gundogs.
You fell into that nightmare, Master, and I rescued you, remember?
Oh, yes.
And as the viewer, you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, good times. That shit sound crazy. Wait. Beyond Journey's End. Beyond Journey's End. Oh, okay, I get it. I love how the story starts and it's just a complete disregard for the viewer, which makes the dialogue feel real. Everyone in the cast just starts talking about shit we've never seen them do, since they're really at the end of the big adventure. The big 10-year adventure they already just went on. They spent 10 years bonding together, but for Frieren, it felt like a month in elf years, or 3 weeks, whatever she said, which leads to her disregarding the time they actually spent together because of her lack of care and understanding for the lifespan of a human, leading her to come back after fucking off for 50 years to watch all her friends kick the bucket, and she finally gets hit with the feeling she's probably never felt before. The want and need to empathize with a human. Remorse. This show definitely reminds you of other titles like To Your Eternity, but with Frieren being damn near immortal, having to sit and become numb to watching all of her friends grow old and die on her, that in itself is already a great first episode hooker. It isn't bombastic or anything. It doesn't show off the pure spectacle of animation of what this show is accustomed to, but it's a great intro to the heart of the story, to what the author is trying to make you feel about this story. And I was down from the jump. I love the little montage of her 50-year solo adventure, the detail of her talking to the shopkeeper when they first met, and then the next time they meet he's an old man. It's literally almost a blink and you miss it moment, but it's such a cool little detail. The show makes time feel like nothing, and to be honest, I kinda like that. Humans spend so much time worrying about time that 30 years old is the new 50.
Damn.
I'm sorry. Wouldn't it be cool to just completely live your life without ever knowing exactly how old you are? You hear stories about people living without counting the years, and it makes you think how much you could actually really get out of yourself if you weren't counting your born days every year. That's the introspective shit that this show will bring out of you. This show really has some valuable things to take away from it. Things to look into your life with, like the concept of time to a human, the time spent with people wanting to be around your introverted ass, and how valuable that is. Regret is the biggest mind killer for me personally. I never really want to have regrets in my life. So Frieren eventually visits one of her friends who's about to die from old age. He gaslights her into helping him live longer, only to lie to her so she'll stick around long enough to train his daughter, forming one of my favorite mother-daughter dynamics I think I've seen in television. Gonna be real sad though to watch her live past her and eventually die. That's gonna be real fun. Yay. It's just fucking To Your Eternity spin-off. Fantasy edition. I love how this show actually like keeps track of the time of how long it's been since basically the pilot and the death of Himmel, Frieren's closest friend and probably the most important person in her life up until now. And by episode 2, the show really leaves you with no grasp on where it could really go, but somehow it's the most interesting draw about it. Frieren, when it's not being one of the greatest animated things I've ever seen, is simply just a comfy ass show for me. It feels good to watch. It gives me the warm fuzzies. I like seeing our immortal main lead find meaning to her long existence, basically by starting a new game plus game mode and going through that same 10-year-long journey she just went on, but this time actually take the time to enjoy the journey, the pit stops, since the destination is so far away. Enjoy the scenery, the people you're traveling with, the people you meet, talk with them, understand them. The show basically turns into a slice of life, and I know shonen heads are about to throw up right now, but it's true. This show is not all action. Frieren is another beautiful example of a show trying to help weebs go and fucking touch some grass. Look outside, bro. Look how beautiful it is. This right here, we all can be like this. Another one of my favorite things about this show though, besides the dialogue of course or the animation, is the way this show does flashbacks. I mean, you know you're doing flashbacks, right? When the character that won the manga popularity contest is someone who has been dead for over 28 years.
Nigga, what the fuck?
So many Oscar bait movies try to do the whole parallel storylines in different time period thing, and almost all of them don't do it right. Frieren does it once, sometimes twice an episode, and it makes it look easy. Because this show is not really parallel storylines almost. The flashbacks are mostly used for us to understand Frieren as a person. Basically her feeling deja vu the entire journey, and us getting to see her relationship with her original party on their first journey. Basically running two storylines almost at once sometimes. There isn't too many flashbacks really, and it doesn't take away from what happens in the present. The flashbacks are used to help us feel what Frieren is thinking while going and traveling to this new place and feeling remorseful about the time that she took for granted. I like that everywhere she goes is just a nostalgia trip for her. You're gonna reach a point while you're watching this show that you'll just forget why you're even on this adventure. Since time is so fucked up in this show, simply because of how the main character herself feels about it.
Mistress Frieren, we've scoured these woods for 6 months. I don't think we're going to find it.
You're right. Perhaps it's time we broaden the radius of our quest.
I can't take this shit no more, man.
You really start forgetting how long it's actually been. It takes a really good screenwriter to help you understand the complexities of a single or multiple characters all at once in a 2-hour movie format. But TV shows can do that for seasons on seasons, giving every character enough time to bake and marinate in their oven, letting you understand the character completely. That's why I've always catered to shows more. And I know I always talk about the orange jumpsuit kid. And I know. I always talk about the orange jumpsuit kid when I compare anime. But Naruto is home to some of what I love from anime and absolutely hate from it. It's the best of both worlds, that's why I bring it up. In comparison to Frieren, Naruto's anime uses flashbacks so bad you feel like you're in one of Itachi's genjutsus at some point. During the last arc of the show, the climactic battle deciding the fate of every character, to anyone that's just a normal guy, just trying to watch a new show, trying to watch an anime. Alright, let's look. What's one of the most popular anime? Naruto? Okay, I'm gonna go watch that. Yikes. And now you're in a 700 plus watch through a filler. You got the Kakashi flashback in the war arc, and then it turns into a Itachi flashback, and then it becomes a Yamato childhood backstory for some reason across like multiple episodes. And you're like, bro, why am I seeing Yamato's crybaby backstory? Yamato? Really the best example of how Frieren uses flashbacks so good is episode 10. So for context, the story thus far has been building to this big confrontation against one of the Demon King's generals.
That's a child!
And during this, you're probably thinking like one or two things. One, Frieren is gonna struggle for the first time in years. Or two, she isn't even gonna lift a finger. They spend pretty much the entire previous episode hyping up this super badass fight between two massively powerful opponents, but then when you get to episode 10, the entire thing isn't this badass fight, but slowly showing the audience why this isn't actually going to be an epic clash of two powerful fighters, but instead, Frieren is just taking out the trash, and one of them doesn't know that they're already dead.
Alright, you didn't realize something. This whole episode is a flashback.
Literally.
Really, this fight's gonna be 2 seconds.
The scene of Frieren flexing her mana is literally just Rock Lee dropping the weights. And it is so satisfying.
I'm a great demon who has lived for over 500 years.
Ara, the one standing before you, is a great mage who's lived for over 1,000. Ara, kill yourself.
Like, look at the detail of her forcing to KO herself. It just looks crazy for no reason. Yeah, this show is really good. I like it. My only nitpick really for how they use flashbacks sometimes is that I personally, as a storyteller, never completely like cutting away from a fight to show flashbacks to try and convey what a character is thinking. I always feel like it's a better way to show this. There are better ways to show characters' thought process without putting it in a flashback within the same scene. But I don't know. That's an anime nitpick that will never get resolved. You just gotta accept it for real. You know, I kinda just wish it was just like all shown in one episode, to be honest. Maybe after the fighting was all done. But if the author is showing the story in this way, who am I to disrespect the vision? The show itself still does a great job of using the flashback mechanic properly. I also wanted to get a little bit into the animation of the show for real. And is it just me? Or do the animators have a weird jacket fetish?
Someone cooked here.
These motherfuckers love putting on jackets. Looks so clean. And that's just it. This show takes the time to put detail into a wet fart if they could. Chewing, jackets, feet, dance scenes, clean ass rotoscoping. Bruh, look at the hair fall. Woo! Ooh! They make sitting on a chair look like fine art. Look at the ass crease.
That's what I'm fucking talking about! Let's go!
Half of Madhouse's time animating this show felt like they put all the effort into the hair physics, because that shit is always blowing.
Damn, it's windy out here.
Madhouse reminds me that they are the reasons studios like MAPPA exist now. And the crazy thing is, Frieren Season 1 and Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 basically have around the same budget. It is literally just all about scheduling, time management, and talent. And I've been told that these small scenes of characters just doing everyday normal shit is harder to animate than a single Tokyo Revengers fight scene. Y'all did not need that, Shrey. I apologize. I still hear horror stories on the grapevine about Madhouse and MAPPA overworking employees until they're skeletons. I truly wish I could give all these motherfuckers a warm bath and a massage if it means I could get 3 more seasons of this movie quality animation. Please, go see your family. The openings and endings are also absolutely delectable. The songs itself for me I can take it or leave it. I'm simply in love with the visuals. I love the new wave of anime openings, bruh. They kinda hit on a different scale. It feels like studios put more time into the openings nowadays than time they're actually giving for the show. It doesn't matter what show is being animated nowadays. You can be the most slice of life, queen bee looking ass animated show imaginable. It does not matter. They gon' make the opening go hard. And the best thing about it, they're all spoiler free. Thank you, Japan. I'm glad you realize you can make openings without spoiling the show. It just takes a little bit more creativity and vibes. Yes, I will still never forgive y'all for spoiling Sage Mode in the opening of Naruto. That is now one too many times I have mentioned this show. I'm going to stop now. Let's talk about the characters. Frieren is an amazing main lead to follow for a lot of different reasons. She's got a lot of different layers to her personality that makes her feel so human, despite her whole character arc being about trying to understand humans more. She isn't overpowered for no reason like other fantasy protagonists. Yes, yeah, I'm talking about you, bruh. You not about to do shit about it.
Yo, I really can't stand this motherfucker. Bitch ass.
The in-world explanation for her being stronger than everyone else is not a super secret technique or anything like that. She's just an old head.
The organizations that manage magic are constantly changing. I can't join a new one every time they do.
Huh.
Besides, I have this to identify me. A genuine holy emblem. Impressive, right?
I have no clue what this rusty thing is. Heiter?
None at all.
Why are you f***ing here, man? You're so old.
Her longevity in life has given her enough time to learn from everything, every source imaginable to get to where she is at this point in the story, thus giving us our level 100 elf girl mage with all the materia maxed out to its potential, S-class wizard shit. And the craziest thing is, apparently she has actually lost fights before.
All of these factors come into play. In my life, I've lost 11 times to mages who had less mana than I did. 4 of those times were to demons.
Including Qual years ago.
1 loss was to an elf like me. And the remaining 6 were to humans.
We just, never get to see it. And it's fine, it's just still early. Frieren occupying the time in her life by learning more magic and looking for new spells just feels like one eternal side quest for her. And that's so sad, yet kinda funny. Shit, I would love to take a year off of life and finally go hard on learning Japanese. I'd be doing the same stuff. I can't really knock her for real. In one episode, she spent 6 months looking for a fucking flower seed. Her life is literally just one perpetual side quest on top of other side quests, and then she forgets the main quest, and then she has to double back because she just has all the time in the world. Why wouldn't you take so long? Frieren is the type of person to beat you without even using her hands just to get a new magic book off of you for a fucking air fryer or something. I'm not even blowing it too. Her mind just works that tediously. Her being aggressively lazy to the point she didn't want to get herself out of a trap simply because she didn't want to mess up her hair just makes her really likable to me.
Yes, I'm a drama queen, but not by choice. It's genetic.
I like to think that she has zero plans most times when it comes to traveling. It almost feels like she just wanders around looking for stuff, seeing the world, taking it in, before she starts traveling with Fern, and Fern is like,
no,
I do not live as long as you. We can't keep living like this. Please stop. The characterization of her feels so well balanced between realistically aloof, carefree child to 1,000-year-old sage wisdom. One of my favorite scenes is her wanting to wake up to experience the sunrise for the first time, something she took for granted on her first adventure, only for her to finally see it and be like,
This is... What? This is boring.
Frieren's entire journey as a person to me is simply realizing her own morality and the ignorance she has because of her long ass lifespan. She's living through her own nostalgia again, making sure she does everything different. If this one 10-year adventure is the equivalent to just 3 weeks worth of her lifespan, I can understand how hard it is for her to not get attached to people so easily. Meanwhile, she has a man falling in love with her, but for her it's like they just met for real.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
I said earlier in the video how this show is just really slice of lifey at most times, which is true. It's a slow burn story. Because the narrative perfectly reflects Frieren as a person, the story isn't rushing to go to Shell City, get the crown, fight the Demon King, save the town and Mr. Krabs.
Grady, wake your sleepy ass up and help me!
Simply because she isn't in a rush. For her, she just came from an epic 10-year quest like a couple months ago. This low-key just a vacation right now. If you're expecting this show to get to the point anytime soon, you're watching this for the wrong reason, bro. You signed up for the wrong adventure. This show is all about the pit stops, not the destination. My only worry now is, now that they established that Frieren is not to be fucked with, I wonder if she'll ever face any conflict worthy of being afraid for her life.
All that for a drop of blood.
All in all, the show's named after her. There was really no way they could fuck this up, but I do want to talk about one thing. So remember how I said that the show doesn't really have fan service really? Well, you know, that's not gonna stop you freaky ass niggas. I know that now. Why is there still so much prawn of Frieren? Now look, I've seen some disgusting stuff through my time on the internet, but for once in my life, I get a fantasy show where there's no big titty monstrosities, where I'm wondering how they even support carrying those all day. There's no creeps, no ecchi scenes, no ass shots, no exposed clothing.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Everyone's always wearing too much clothing. It's just a straight wholesome story. And you nasty motherfuckers still find a way to make prawn out of it.
Hey. Who are these niggas? We need to stay away from these niggas.
Here, let's look at this. Like, what is this? I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of funny. It's like, bruh, how on every set, anime fans will just be like, yo, this story is cool and all, but how can I beat off to this? This is the shit I'm talking about. Why are y'all like this? It just keeps going. Like, bro, who drew this? She is underage. I know this never stopped y'all before, but you know, goddamn. This is why they think we're weird, bro. It's shit like this. What is this? Okay, that's enough of that. Let's talk about Fern now. I get it though. Fern has a very cute design. I think the entire cast of the show has some dope ass designs, to be real. Fern basically being Frieren's adoptive daughter and student is such a sweet character journey to see unfold. Fern somehow, despite being the quietest of the cast, low-key has chemistry with everybody. It's crazy how despite still being realistically awkward and sheltered, while being raised by a drunk priest and a woman who collects spells that take your clothes off. No, I'm not joking, that's a real thing. Up until the exam arc, it's hard talking about Fern without talking about her relationship with Frieren for me. They both somehow feel really motherly to each other, always telling her and the group not to buy dumb shit, waking up on time cause Frieren's sleep schedule looks like mine. I love how motherly Frieren is with her in turn. That scene where she's sick in bed and Frieren keeps holding her hand cause it made her comfortable when she was a little girl is so sweet.
You haven't let go of her hand once since we got here.
Because she seems to be in pain. When Fern is under the weather, nothing makes her feel better than holding her hand. She's been that way since she was little. What's wrong?
Mistress Frieren, you're embarrassing me.
How so?
You're treating me like a child, which I am not.
And I like how she doesn't even realize that she's being motherly, that she basically raised this girl. It makes sense that one of the reasons they work so well as a duo is because of how casually they view how talented they are with magic. They don't really have a high passion for it, and that's how they originally bonded.
Do you know any ways I can train this skill?
Yes, but can I ask you something first? Do you like magic?
I like it somewhat, I guess.
In that, we're alike.
Frieren just likes collecting stuff because she's a hoarder, but Fern feels like throughout the story that she lacks her own identity for herself for real. To the point that it actually blows me that the author addresses it during the magic exam. Fern is one of those people that simply find peace in making the people she loves happy rather than thinking about things that she actually wants. As generic as it sounds, seeing her people happy is what gives her life. Frieren basically raised her half her life, so even if she's old enough to go off on her own now and be like, nah, I'ma do my own thing. I like how irrationally immature she is sometimes too. She's never been around another teenage boy her own age before, so she starts acting out a little. The scene of her not being able to take the same joke that she did to Stark the same episode is really, hits really close to home.
So who did what to whom?
It was all Mr. Stark's fault.
Yup. Always has been, always will be.
What happened in there?
You remember that time Fern touched my cheek? When we first arrived here and her hands were record level cold?
Oh yeah.
Well, today I tried to get her back for it. And she didn't like that too much.
Come on, are you a child?
And her relationship with Stark shows that even when you're innocent, you're still wrong, reminding you that girls hate taking accountability, even though you're right and did nothing wrong. Your side of the argument will always be invalid, and you just gotta bury it because, unfortunately, happy wife, happy life. Whoa, where the fuck did that come from? I mean, she x-ray visioned my man's junk, but constantly thinks he's trying to do pervy stuff?
You must be tired from carrying her this whole time. You rest now. I'll take over.
What the fuck did I do?
Fern is an orphan who never really got taught how to not make bad assumptions about people, something she does on a regular with every new man she meets. That's why I'm happy Fern and Stark's romance is actually worth rooting for. They're both sheltered orphans, so it's cool seeing them struggle to open up and communicate outright. As a writer myself that loves seeing actual well-written relationships portrayed in media, I usually hate the way anime writes relationships. It's kind of stinky. It's usually Baka this, Tsundere that, and that's fucking stupid. Like, come on, can we get some adults in the room? Like, goddamn, it's like y'all never seen a woman before. I love that their budding romance mirrors the diabolical friend zone that Himmel and Frieren got put in, turning into regret for her that she never acted upon anything. Like, goddamn, an 1,000-year-old virgin. Nothing really wrong with that, but it's like, damn, bro couldn't get nothing? He was trying so hard. He was trying so hard too.
He's more like a pet to me.
At the beginning of their friendship, I was surprised by how casual they were treating one another. They were simply hanging out as friends and the romance developed naturally without being forced, which is so rare to see from the anime. I almost broke my fucking neck from Whiplash. Wow guys, look at that. Look at that. It is crazy how simple writing good romance really is. Step 1. Write two characters who would reasonably care about each other's well-being and or enjoy each other's company. Step 2. Make them interact. Step 3. Make them grow closer over the course of those interactions.
I never did that before. But, I mean, I could try.
That is literally it. That is the bare basics. The fundamentals. Easier said than done, I know. But also, it's not harder than writing good friendships, rivalries, or even just good characters. Which is why it baffles me how so many anime stories have bad romantic subplots and treat liking someone as a baseline character trait. Scratch that, a main character trait. Damn, I'm just throwing stray after stray today. I also love how important birthdays are in this show as well, especially for Fern. Real life birthdays are a commemoration of growth and surviving another year on Earth, and I love how seriously Fern takes it.
Oh, that's right. Today is Stark's 18th birthday.
Don't you think that's something you could have mentioned to me a bit earlier? Is there anything you'd like me to purchase for you?
Wait, what?
Today's your birthday, is it not?
Yeah, I guess it is. But what's that got to do with you buying me stuff?
Don't play dumb. I want to get you a present.
What? Why would you do that?
Just forget about it. You're insufferable.
If you weren't aware, today is Fern's birthday. And unfortunately, Stark forgot to get her a gift. She's not taking it well.
Now, I'm really mad.
Frieren doesn't really care because she's Frieren and will live to see a million birthdays. But her taking the time to make sure she celebrates all her party members' birthdays, showing real character growth, I love that shit. Fern also gets the best fights in the show, by the way. Turn that man into the letter C. It's crazy how most times in her fights, Fern isn't even that powerful. It's just the way she fights is what makes her so special. Like for example, in this scene, Fern knows the demon is arrogant, so she uses that against him simply by being faster than him. To the point he couldn't feel how strong her Kamehameha blasts really were. Like, I never thought I'd see a quick draw Mexican standoff in a fantasy anime, but here we are, bruh. I love when the studio just decides to snap for fight scenes. It feels like I just got blessed by the gods. I love the little detail in her fighting style. Her magic is very old school because she's learned from like different generations of existence. It's a nice touch. I like the scene with that one demon general. He froze and now however many years later, she wakes him up just to tell him that he's an old head now. He's a legend though, you gotta respect the OGs. Like bro invented the fucking skyhook. Frieren really took bro's spell and sampled it into a beat. Time is so fucked in this show. Bro went from a level 100 mage to level 1.
Bro, he's one shot, trust me, he's one shot! Bro, get him!
In the exam arc, it makes sense that Fern is the only one to know what Frieren's real weakness is, since they've been together the longest. There's a fight where Fern and Frieren have to fight a clone of herself, and I'll be honest, it's the hardest shit you'll ever see.
Jude Darajim.
It's behaving just like Mistress Frieren predicted.
Like, this is just how the episode starts, by the way. Frieren's weakness being something so small and minuscule that if she wasn't here to fight and hold herself off, nobody could win, simply because she makes up for her weakness in every other area of magic. There is still no fighting her. I need 1,000 years of magic knowledge and battle experience to maybe catch her off guard. Yeah, nah, I'm good. And when you see the actual fight itself, you realize why Frieren holds back in every fight. Like, it literally looks like they're just shooting galaxies at each other. What is happening?
am I looking at?
And by the end of it, Fern is the one that has to be the one to be the decoy for Frieren to come in and steal the win. I think my biggest gripe about this fight is really just the conclusion to it all. After the fight, Frieren and Fern have an argument about her broken staff and how Fern doesn't want to get a new one. And I'm just thinking, one, how do you not have like a tape spell or some shit? Her staff is just like a giant branch with knickknacks on it. But you know, it's like magic. Okay, whatever. And two, Frieren as a show usually shies away from these kind of things. It usually sticks to wholesome moments between the characters. So for me, it would have been cool to see their first real argument be about something as petty as this, simply because Frieren can't understand sentimental value for items. The staff was given to her by the man who raised her and one of her closest friends. Showing an argument for this would have been dope to see, but instead we just get the narrator telling us how she feels. It's like, yeah, sure, cool, whatever. It's just a fucking nitpick. It's not that serious. I really can't get anything that I want. I love that mages have to be safe certified to travel certain places because of how dangerous it is. That's really funny to me. But that's enough Fern. No more Fern. Let's talk about my boy. Stark is my favorite character in Frieren, and I am about to show you why. I mean, come on, peep the drip. Hey, bro just looks cool. I love how cool this man looks on first glance, carrying around a big ass battle axe everywhere. It's a classic misdirect for his real personality. Stark is a teenage boy with all of the potential and strength in the world to be a classic hero man of the story, trained by one of the greatest warriors of all time, but falls flat simply because he has low self-esteem. He thought his master hated him for being weak, but in reality he was just scared of how strong he was.
Law, he's special. He's just special. He's just special. This is what I'm talking about. See, when people looked at me and said, yo.
He thought he was a coward for running away from monsters when it was a direct order from his older brother to run. He thought the dragon attacking the village never came back out of luck, but really it was just because he was just him. If we follow this pattern, it's safe to say Fern thinks he's small because she saw what he was packing down there, but in reality, my boy's a grower. Raise your head, king. Don't let these hoes mess up your groove. Stark's life is one big turn of misunderstandings, and I love the way he's written. Realistically, him being scared of dying to a dragon is understandable. You can be as strong as you want, but if you can't get through your own mental blocks, you won't be able to use your physical strength at all. Overpowered, stoic hero men aren't cool, y'all.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, man.
Bring on the dweebs. Give me more strong losers with trauma. Because when you quest is legit too, he simply wants to experience what his master did and come back to him alive before he dies so they can share the same stories. One of my favorite episodes of the show has nothing to do with fighting demons or anything. It's just Fern trying to figure out what to give Stark for his birthday. Meanwhile, he thinks he's never celebrated a birthday or ever received a gift from anybody until he realized that no, he actually always has been receiving a gift in some weird way, shape, or form. I love character-focused episodes like this. This is why I say TV and long-form storytelling is my favorite over movies. He kind of gets lost in the sauce though later on in the season once the exam starts, because he literally has no reason to be in the story at this point. He kind of just like takes naps all day.
Greet nothingness. Good day. And be proud, for you have arrived at the essence of the art of war. The master's lessons are the student's tricks now. I bid you farewell.
Who was that elderly fellow?
I have no idea. He just talks at me while I'm training.
The art of war is an ever-evolving craft. But you've taken a large step toward unraveling its secrets. The master's lessons have now become the student's tricks.
Who are you?
And you don't really mind though that Stark gets sidelined in this part of the story, since he really gets so many storylines beforehand that flesh out his feelings. Sign on the other hand is weird. He's supposed to be the fourth party member, but then bro just dips after like a couple episodes. It's like, well damn, it's not like I wanted to get to know him a little. Fuck. No way he just never comes back. He has one of my favorite lines from the show.
What was that?
I blew you a kiss, of course. Maybe you're too young to appreciate it, Sonny.
Somebody take this twisted child home.
If Frieren and Fern kinda swap between being moms in the party, Sign is definitely pushing out big dad energy. And he likes MILFs. He's just like me for real. I was really happy to have Stark finally be around another guy for once in the party, but then poof! He goes off on his own side quests. I don't know, maybe he'll come back. And as for everyone else in the show, I kind of feel like the original party are characters in their own right, despite being dead for over 30 years in the story. The show fleshes out their characters so much to the point that you think that they're still around. Not gonna lie though, first episode, I thought Himmel was the dwarf when I saw how he looked as an old man.
Damn, nigga, you short.
It's like, bro, what happened? How your genes fail you this bad? Motherfucker aged like a banana.
I mean, look at Heiter. He's turned into an old man right before our eyes.
That's not nice.
Wow, karma really is a bitch for real. I like how much you get to see Himmel's effect on the state of the world, despite dying so long ago. His name really is Teflon in the magic world at this point, and it's cool to see. It's just sad to see that he never was able to get anything romantically from Frieren, since humans' lifespans are that of a fly to her. But in her defense, it'd be sad as hell falling in love with someone you're gonna outlive. It's like, yeah, you can bond with that person, but at the end of the day,
she's more like a...
In the flashbacks, you can see all of the mistakes he made on their original journey, like trusting a demon, his narcissism, and somehow everyone still looks up to him. Not gonna lie though, if the author expects me to take the Demon King seriously after finding out he got beat by a plastic sword, he can't be serious. Bro is on fraud watch. Himmel's impact on Frieren just shows how much she's remorseful about taking that relationship for granted. I love how I went this long without talking about any of the monsters in the show, but bruh, these are some Elden Ring ass bosses if I've ever seen one. I really like the depictions of demons in this world. It's kind of a different take than what you'd normally expect from a fantasy story. A creature that hides in sheep's clothing, mimics human talk, acts like us, talks like us, but literally have no soul inside of him. It'll talk like us, but there really is no communicating with it basically.
Lord Lugnia, what is a father?
Who can say?
Did they really just say that? I also really appreciate how much time is spent explaining how the magic works in the world. I'm not really sure why there's a laundry spell specifically, but you know, I'm gonna let it slide. It kind of feels though like the magic rules sometimes feel like it comes when the plot demands it. You know, when and where they run out of mana, or which spell they can't use right now. For example, how they constantly can't just keep flying everywhere. Because the first time I saw them fly, I was like,
They fly now? They fly now!
Going from slice of life travels to shonen tournament arc made me burst out laughing though. I never thought this show would go there, but I welcomed it with open arms. I love me a good tournament arc. And you cannot tell me that the bird exam isn't just the force of death.
Word for word, bar for bar!
Every new character introduced here is actually cool too. Warble has the most subversive, dickhead character design you'll ever see. Warble. The exam arc really makes you buy into the world a little more as far as the world of mages goes. In the first half, you get to know magic through Frieren and Fern, but it also does a lot of establishment for monsters, demons, and warriors and whatnot. And you really don't meet that many other mages. And seeing a whole tournament arc roster full of them, all of them fight differently, is really what the story really needed to spice it up a little. A little shonen sauce, back to the basics. I promise you season 2, I'm buying a cloak and the staff for the video. Please remind me, yo. I promise you I will. You got a girl who can't do anything without water, her not gay teammate, an earthbender, a shadow clone user, Yukako Yamagishi, a literal murderer. Denkin had me thinking that he was actually gonna give Frieren problems, only for him to get whooped in like 5 minutes, and then resort to plan B to move on to the exam. Maybe out of mana, but I ain't out of options. Frieren being the final boss of the second trial is so fucking fun. And like I said earlier, this fight is just bonkers. Side note, completely unrelated, of course, Ubel. Something about her. I don't know. Goddamn, I have a type. Just when I think I'm out, I come right back in. I love how Frieren throughout this whole second trial is just like having fun. It reminds me of that one Adventure Time episode where Finn is trying to show Flame Princess how cool dungeons are, and he's trying to do stuff the long way instead of blasting through everything, which shows off her personality a lot. The third trial simply being a test to see how big your balls are.
Excuse me.
You have failed the test. Be gone.
May I at least ask you why?
It's clear the presence of my mana has all but petrified you. You know the limits of your own abilities well.
Girl literally walked up to the goddess of all magic and started quaking in her boots. Imagine going through all of that. Life or death scenarios just to get told you're a bitch maiden to get out. I am literally standing inside your aura. How do you want me to feel? I like how she fails Frieren for no reason other than being petty and holding a grudge for this long. Truly diabolical. All in all, I never really cried watching Frieren. Everything I got out of this show was really comfy and bittersweet for me. Happy to say though that Frieren has finally made my list of anime that my girlfriend would probably like.
If I had one!
Anyway, 9 out of 10. When can I get a JRPG of the original party's adventure? Someone get on that. Pretty please. I'll pay top dollar. All I can really say is if this shit doesn't win anime of the year next year, I'm gonna truly start thinking this shit is rigged. And anime fans around the globe have truly failed as a community.
All this to be
Demon Slayer Season 4.
Did you tell me this was over?